It was one of the funnier scripts I've read in my life. It's very rare that a script can make me laugh out loud, but obviously I think BJ, I'm a huge fan of The Office, like massive fan of The Office. Actually, I think I'm due to start watching the whole series for like the 9th time through. It's been long enough, it's been like 6 months. And so this sort of like familiar, BJ was obviously a writer for The Office, so that kind of like familiar tone was something that really stood out to me. We all kind of like know this girl. She's wants to be famous, doesn't really have any specific talents or passions, just knows that she wants to be famous. But I think it's this really interesting character because she's part of this kind of dystopic section of modern culture where it's very like she's like listless, doesn't know herself, and just is under the impression that she wants to be famous, even though she doesn't know what it is or has any sort of like connection to what that means. It's just like she's been sold this idea that if she is famous, she will be complete, she will be happy. BJ's an incredible director. I mean, he's a genius writer. He's one of my favorite comedic actors, but he's an incredible director. I mean, I don't understand how he was able to do all three so well. But I definitely think something that was different about working with BJ as an actor as a director is because he was always there, and because he was writing it, he would just feed us lines on the go. The other thing that was really special about it was just the fact that he's so funny that it was like, I'm pretty good at not breaking. I also started out in comedy, so I kind of pride myself on being a pretty good like straight man in terms of like giving someone a sounding board to be funny against and being funny and not making myself break. There's something about BJ. It's really maddening. It's like none of us could keep it together to the point where it was like actually frustrating. Like there are scenes that didn't make it into the film that were some of my favorite scenes, and I know it's just because we didn't get it. Like we literally didn't get it. We ran out of time and we didn't get the shot, and everybody was like angry. Like actually there was this one time we were shooting at this rodeo and it was freezing. Like people's noses were red. I could barely like animate my mouth because it was so cold and my muscles were freezing. And he kept feeding this person behind us this line. And I can't even tell you why it was so funny, but it was just BJ and the line and the circumstance. And it was so hilarious that every single time, every single one of us broke, like Boyd included. And he's such a good straight man. And BJ was like getting really mad. He was like, guys! And we couldn't keep it together, even though it was like, Dad's mad. And it didn't make the film. I've never seen the bloopers, but I think it might be longer than the film.